Welcome to Charmed Life, a radio show discussing spirituality, magic, and the unconditional love of the universe. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm your host, Tricia Carr. I'm so excited to be back in the studio this week at Universal Broadcasting Network in the Sunset Gower studio in Hollywood, California, with Jarvis Essex, my producer. We had fun last week. We actually broadcast live from Loveland, Colorado, from the Lightworkers Lab Bliss Retreat, and it was really fun. Jarvis and I, we're always telepathically communicating during the show. And even though we're in the same room, we don't even be looking at each other. We're just, and after the show, we're like, yeah, I know, I heard you say that, and I heard you say that, like in our mind. And it worked from Loveland, Colorado, too. We were talking, telepathically. So that was really fun. If you didn't get to catch that episode live, go on to the YouTube channel. That is youtube.com/Tricia Carr, or you can find it on any podcast outlet, Stitcher, iTunes, Spreaker, and also on iHeartRadio. You can just find the show by searching Charmed Life with Tricia Carr. Please do like, subscribe, share, comment. It will just really help us all engage. If you like this content and you want to spread more light in this world, you want to connect with unconditional love and allow others to have that transformation to connecting with unity and unconditional love, then, go ahead and engage in the show by sharing and commenting and everything, because that is actually a way to spread that light and spread that love and the intention that we have here in the show, which is, by the way, magic. When I say magic, I don't mean like David Copperfield or David Blaine, any of the David magicians. Not that they're not cool, and they are definitely magical because we all are. What I mean by magic really is how we actually create our own reality with just our thought. And even actually what supersedes the thought is the feeling and the emotion. And it's pretty crazy when you really understand that and embody it. And the understanding isn't something that you have to learn. It's really about unlearning the conditioning and the conventional, teaching that we all come up with. The teaching that tells us that things are difficult. What's difficult is to allow things to be simple and know that you can just feel in love, deeply and feelingly connect with love and your desires, and they just start happening, and it's pretty crazy. Like, I could share with you I did some readings last night in someone's home. First time I ever did an event like that, and it was a lot of fun. And I shared some stories about like instant manifestation just by connecting with the feeling of something that you wanted to manifest. For example, I have a friend who was in desperate need of help, so he went out and helped someone. And then at the end of that day, just because he was like, I need help, so I'm going to activate the energy of help. And he went to help someone with the only thing he had, which was his body that day. By the end of the day, he had a check for $10,000 for a new job. It was crazy. So that's something I wanted to preface with. And another thing I want to tell you before I bring on my amazing guest today, I have now released on my website my Empowered Empath and Highly Sensitive Intuitive course. It's an online 6-week course, and you actually bring yourself through it. And you commit, you do your own exercises. It's about doing your own work, about being able to connect with your own empowerment. And I give you all the tools that you need. And again, that kind of unlearning. There are lessons every single week of the 6-week program, plus meditations and techniques that are meditative that you actually do on your own. So you can develop your own practice for being able to connect with your power as an empath or highly sensitive person. And we talk about what high sensitivity and the extreme empathic nature that many of us have, and we see more and more people understanding this about themselves. What this actually means with these gifts, with this high sensitivity is that it is your superpower. But our response to this crazy world that we live in makes it feel like it's actually a weakness. And so this is the intention of this course. And for me personally, understanding my empathic nature was the portal to absolutely transforming my life, to opening up to all of my spiritual abilities. And I mean, it's insane. And besides being an empath and highly sensitive person, we also talk about the intuitive high sensitivity and the artistic creative sensitivity, because I connect with all of those different kinds of sensing. We look at that. So I would encourage you to go and check it out. It is on my website. You go to my website, triciacarcharm.com, and then work with me classes, and you'll find it there, Empowered Empath. And in addition to the actual training with the 6 weeks of classes and the techniques and meditations that are there for you, you also get access to an online community of other graduates from this program. It's a beautiful, supportive community. It's hosted on Facebook, and that's something that is building. And once a month there, at least once a month, there's going to be live training and Q&A. I say there's going to be because we've only had it open for about 8 weeks, and so now we're kind of starting this brand new. It's catalyzing into something really big and robust, and we're all very excited about it. So I really encourage you to, if you feel overwhelmed by your sensitivity, please do join us in connecting with your power and your superpower strength and spiritual ability as an empathic person. Thank you for your work. Thank you for feeling the way that you do. You're an expert feeler. And the reason you brought that expert feeling nature into this experience was to remember how to feel love on behalf of the entire world, because that's what you're really good at. All right, I'm gonna now get to, this is actually all of the stuff that I've been talking about is a perfect segue into welcoming my guest, because the title of this show is Emotions and Chakras. And my guest today is Crystal Reiki Master and intuitive chakra coach, a.k.a. the Chakra Diva, a.k.a. Amber Poole. Welcome to the show, Amber.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And I posted yesterday, and I meant this with my whole heart. If you are on any of my Facebook or social media profiles, I said, well, if you haven't met the Chakra Diva yet, be ready to fall in love, because just look at her or listen to her, however you're checking us out. You just exude so much love and just positivity and joy, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Amber is also a moderator and teacher in the Lightworkers Lab, the online community founded by Crystal and Compton that you guys hear me talk about all the time. Please do join. It's free. Resources are ridiculous. Amber, how ridiculous are the resources for spiritual growth?
I love it in there. There's so much that you can receive from there, no matter what level you're at. Mm-hmm. There's a piece of information already in there that you can gain and grow and engage with. And it's a beautiful, lovely community.
Yeah. And Amber is an integral part of it. She does, it's on Wednesdays during the day right now. Amber goes up regularly and teaches something amazing. A couple of weeks ago, you taught how to see auras. And I was on that teaching, and every person who was engaging in the feed was like, oh my gosh, I can see my aura, or I could see my friend's aura. Everybody was like, wow, I didn't know I could just see auras with my physical eyes. It's amazing.
Absolutely. I tell everybody, if you're going to come on, you're going to be able to see it. If you're going to be open to it, then you can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just gave some really fantastic techniques. Again, this is just like I say about telepathy. Telepathy is our first language, so we're just remembering how to activate it. It's not even like learning French or something, from being an English speaker. And that's what I think the seeing auras and seeing with your physical eyes and connecting with your third eye, it's really just remembering. So it's not learning something that's difficult, like going to, sophomore year of high school, which sucked.
Yes, everybody can do it. They have that innate ability to do it. Sometimes you just need that teaching to show you how to remember to do it as well.
Exactly, just remembering. Yeah. And I should say that we are taking calls, 323-524-2599, if you have any questions about, I think in particular, I'd love to make a call out to folks who have questions about, hey, am I psychic? Do I have intuitive abilities? How do I do that? How do I feel that? How do I connect with that? Because I feel like that's the energy that we can really tap into today, is answer some of those questions, even more so than if you wanted a reading or something, which we're open to as well. But I think that that's kind of the vibe of the show today. And with that, Amber, can you please tell people a little bit more about Amber Poole? You want to share about your work, your journey, anything like that? Give us a little background.
So when I was a child, I was able to see colors and auras, and that's why I do a lot of shows about, or even conversations of how to see these things and how to remember to see these things. And as I got into my teenage years, I shut down all of my abilities. Boys were, my go-to subject, not so much seeing things and colors and what that meant. Mm-hmm. And in 2012, I was executive assistant for a company for 10 years. Mm-hmm. And one day I was walking and I just fell over. I don't know how else to say that. Everything went black. And I heard my spirit guides, who I haven't heard in years. And I said, am I okay? And they said, yep. It was like, you're welcome back, Amber. Now it's time to start your journey.
Oh my gosh.
So through all of the communication with them, I went into out-of-body experiences. I had seen colors again. Everything just came in right away. And I realized that I could feel energy very well, which was something that I didn't practice when I was little. Mm-hmm. So I was very excited about that. And I picked up a massage table off of Craigslist for $30. And I would call up my friends and family and say, hey, can you lay on this table? I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to try. And as I would scan people, I would just know the most amazing things that they could relate, that they could understand. Wow. Emotions and, like past memories and things like that would come up, and we would release in a session. And again, nobody taught me these things, but I could hear my guides and they would walk me through the process.
Amazing.
So for the past 5 years, that's what I've been doing, energy healing and talking to their guides.
I have to say that, I don't know if I've ever told you this, Amber, but my guides you've studied Reiki at least, but my guides actually did the same thing. One of my guides, she started touching my hand, the palms of my hand, and showing me how they light up. That was the first thing and she gave me the word energy healer. I was all like in my own space about it. So I wasn't kind of in a community of education or anything. And she's like, energy healing, energy healer. And I was like, when I started to get into like more education about it and getting into people, the new age, I guess or the metaphysical kind of speak about it. And I'd heard of Reiki and I was like, should I take Reiki? And they're like, no, you shouldn't take anyone else's class about it because it'll confuse you. You're just remembering your own way to do it.
Yes. No, I completely agree with that, because everybody would say, oh, are you Reiki attuned? I'm like, well, not really, but I know. I just know. Yeah. I have this innate ability to know what I'm doing and receive that information. So I totally understand.
Yeah. And that is a really amazing. I also, do you have co-visualizations with your clients where they actually, that happens with me sometimes. I don't know if it's because, you're third eye dominant as well, but I have co-visualizations with clients. So I'm doing energy healing or scanning or something, and then I explain something. They're like, I just saw that. And it freaks them out.
I love that. I do crystal Reiki attunements. I love crystals. I like to physically hold things in my hands and receive information. So a client yesterday, as I was like attuning her, I said, I just want to let you know there's a raccoon right by you. And he is definitely telling me that his name is Ricky Raccoon. And he said, it's so interesting because I started drawing raccoons yesterday in class.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's your connection.
Reiki Raccoon?
Ricky Raccoon.
Oh, Ricky. So I thought you said Reiki.
Oh, Ricky Raccoon. Ricky.
That could be the mascot for the Chakra Diva.
It could be. Right behind me.
Well, explain, if you don't mind, a little bit more. Imagine that there are folks who are listening and they're like, what the heck does crystal Reiki attunement mean? So you hold a crystal. And walk us through the process, your experience, how that works.
So crystal Reiki is different from a Sui Reiki. Crystal Reiki, you receive 17 symbols, and they all do different things, from grounding to psychic development, crossing animals and people over, internal healing, external healing. So you receive 17 new symbols, and you draw them on crystals, and then you place the crystals on the body to align the subtle energy body around it, as well as bring in the energies that you want to have. So if you want to be grounded, you would use a grounding energy symbol for that person. And
you draw it with like an actual...
a wand.
Oh, like okay. I see.
A wand. Mm-hmm. You have you become attuned to your wand, and you use your wand for everything.
And is it a quartz wand, or is it a selenite, or what kind of wand do you use?
Clear quartz wand.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Cool.
One, it can't be double terminated. It has to be one point so that you can direct the energy towards them. Mm-hmm. And as you're doing attunements, or if you are the client, you put everybody into the Star of David using the clear quartz points around their body as well. So you put all the energy into the body.
And so you just draw that basically around the entire person?
Yep. And you can draw it around the person. You can physically put the crystals around the person. You can do both.
What is the significance of the Star of David? What is that symbol? Even if it's to you, what does the Star of David mean and feel? What is it called? So it's
protection, and it's also balance. And when you sit in the middle of it, you're in perfect harmony. That's what your intention is, to be in that harmony, in that alignment for those two things.
Because it's two triangles, which are very powerful. Do you put a circle around it too, or is it just the star itself?
the star by itself.
Okay. What are some of the other symbols and meanings that go with the crystals and the attuning?
We do a centering symbol. So usually you put the centering symbol on a crystal, and then you put the crystal into your solar plexus, right? So that you find your centering within yourself. There's another one for Kundalini, Reiki, Kundalini symbol. It's like moving, healing, like emotional energy, sexual energy. You would use that symbol.
For your sacral?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry. You put, and that attunes on your sacral? Is that what you're saying?
And that would be for your sacral. There's a spinal one that you can use. So if you have any nerve damage or if you need spinal help, so you have back pains, lower back pains, upper back pains, you would use that symbol. So there's 17 of them. So you can use a mix and match and talking to your higher self, talking to ancient civilizations.
Wow.
It's really unique.
And people can do this on their own. And I think, would you agree that they don't even necessarily have to understand exactly all of the things that the symbol means at the time, but they could call it in and activate and do their own attuning for themselves? Would you agree?
They sure can. And you can also do it long distance. So you can grab a picture or photo of somebody who you want to give healing or send healing to, put the photo down in front of them, and then draw the Star of David, and you're putting your symbols into the picture. So you are energetically sending these symbols of what you want for them, the high vibrational healing.
That's interesting. And so I'm just thinking of that as like, it's a psychic email. You know, obviously someone can open it and care about it or not, but if they do open it and it can open their heart and invoke, you know what I mean? Like if you wrote a really heartfelt, loving, healing email to someone, they still have the choice to allow it to heal them or not, but there's a good chance that it will.
Yes, if they want to accept it. And you can also do it for animals. You know, animals, a lot of them, they move around. They don't want to stay still. Some of them do. Some of them who need healing will stay still. But sometimes they won't. And you can't chase after them with your hands and say, wait a minute, hold on. You know, so you can have a photo of your animal in front of you and you can send them healing as well.
I have tried to look at my cat's chakras with my pendulum, you know, just for fun.
Yeah.
And here's my pendulum actually. It's just a ring on a chain, and you know, it'll spin with I have to make it spin if it's not over anything. So it'll spin clockwise if the chakra is kind of like going its normal way. So I was trying to do it on my cat once and he's like batting it and it's a toy. And I was like, no, I'm healing you, honey.
So the other method that I do that you might want to try with your cat is drawing a picture. I call it the gingerbread person. And you put their chakras going up, and then you take your pendulum and you go over each one to analyze the status of what's going on.
Right. So it doesn't have to be over the actual body of the kitty.
You might be able to do that for your kitty.
And animals have the same chakra system that we have, and then additional ones because they kind of have, like, for example, dogs, their nose chakra is kind of way more robust than ours. Are you familiar? I mean, I don't know how much you do work with animals.
I don't work with animals.
Oh,
I don't, but I do know the chakra system. I've read about it.
Yeah, their chakra system. Yeah, and I'm not as expert on it, but some of it is also just remembering. I think, you know, I definitely draw upon other lives where I was an animal healer, kind of even, you know, well, I've more primarily. That is kind of very primary to what I do now too. So, I think Jarvis is putting up a picture of a dog's chakra system.
I love it.
They're really cute. I love looking at the dog's chakra system. There's one photo I found of the dog chakra system, and it's like it's a picture of an English bulldog, I think, and he's kind of stretched out because it shows you like his tail chakra, you know, because they have a root chakra, but then they also have a tail chakra, which is kind of like a minor chakra to the root chakra, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we have our minors, we have our palm chakras and our hand chakras that we use all the time. So I find that interesting. They have tail chakras.
Yeah, they have tail chakras. And then but they do have the other major chakras that we have too, like soul star and root or super root and earth star and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, they have that as well.
That face.
There's that one. Is that a pug? Yeah, that's similar to the one I was thinking of. That's a pug.
So cute.
Yeah, really great. So yeah, just so you know, in case your clients ever ask you about it, you could just do the same thing with animals. Like pretty much. I mean, they're not exactly the same as us. They have a different perspective, but they have access to the same spectrum of emotions and everything. And so therefore, I mean, if they have access to the same spectrum of emotions, then of course, as we're talking about emotions and chakras, it makes sense that then they have a very similar chakra system, if not at least primarily, it's the same. So let's talk about that, though. How do we work on our emotional body through the chakra system? Can you tell me what kind of healing work do you do when you're focusing on the chakras?
So what I do is I literally warm up my hand chakras, and then I go over somebody's chakra. So if we're on their root chakra, and the root chakra is for safety, financial security, it's for your basic needs being met. And let's say that a person really needs to have money. They have lack of money. So therefore their chakra becomes bigger in size. So the emotional aspect of that is the fear of not having enough, right? So that's what comes up, the fear or the lack of abundance and not being able to be supportive and things like that. So in our healing sessions, I recognize that sometimes spirit guides show it to me through like memories of the growing up. Maybe they'll open up the cupboards and there's not any food in there. So they feel like this job that they're trying to manifest, they're having a hard time because they feel the lack of from childhood experience. So whatever they show me in that moment, I have my hands over on top and we work on releasing it, the root chakra. So taking all that stress, taking that emotional baggage that they say, are you ready to go? And they say, yes, of course. Who wants to hold on to that? Energetically push it through, down feet, release it, and pull it out the other side. So you not being held onto.
You describe, so you'll tell them the memory or you'll receive it clairvoyantly, maybe also a little clairsentiently, and then you describe it to them and then they acknowledge, yes, I remember that. I know what that is.
And because they may not even know or be aware of that they have that process going on in their subconscious.
Right.
They might not even, they be in their mind just, I really need this job. I know I really need money, but not even pay attention to when I was growing up, I didn't have any money. And that's why I feel that way.
Right.
So we work energetically on releasing it. And then we replace it with affirmations. I know I am open to receiving abundance. I am open to the opportunity of a good job. Because that's changing and altering your perception of yourself. Right. And that's really what we're trying to do. And not going to, I don't have enough. I really need this, because coming from a place of lack of, you either come from fear or love, right? So we always want to try to push you towards the love and not so much the lack and fear.
Right. And there's so many people, if you have like a challenging childhood, besides the fact that maybe even if the cupboards weren't bare, I don't know, I think there may be some people listening who need to hear this, even if it wasn't, maybe you were middle class and everything was fine, you know, there was always food in the cupboard, but if there was some challenge in the home otherwise, so you felt like in order to get that food, which is what a child understands, that my parents provide me the food and they're my relationship that to actual sustenance. So I have to have this job, meaning I'm unhappy in the home. You know what I mean? There's trauma or there's emotional pain. Even if there's enough food, it's like the way that you get it is by relating to a boss that you don't like. You know what I mean? Like your parent. Or,
I love that.
Or if your parent, or coming through your parents' filter, perhaps your parents' filter is, it's scary. I hate my job. You know what I mean? Like even if it's not directly to the child, but you're still getting it through the filter of your parents, which is maybe scarcity or lack oriented, you know? Yeah.
Yep, it's always that the boss. I love that because it's an authority figure. So it doesn't have to be your parents.
Right.
But it's, oh, you know what? My mom, like I used to always attract these women bosses that yelled at me all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is that? But then I realized my mom used to yell at me all the time.
Oh my gosh.
I go, oh, we're not going to play this game anymore. We're releasing that.
Yeah. I don't need mom anymore.
No, we're done with that.
You know, I need my mom, but I don't need her like that.
Right.
She doesn't have to stand in the way of my food.
Emotional aspect I kept holding on to until I always say use the F word. Forgiveness. Okay. So that's like loving yourself for whatever aspect or part you had within that interaction, loving. And even if you can't love the other person, but end up forgiving them, forgive yourself for holding on to that for so long. Right. You don't need that. Right. So we always use the F word in my studio.
Yes, because forgiveness is, they say, well, forgiveness is, it doesn't release the other person, it frees you. That's what it's about. And that's actually what I was mentioning at the beginning of the show, that if you need help, go help someone, because you're just activating. The universe is very literal. So if you are, and the things that are in your face causing you pain and suffering are the keys to actually releasing that very pain and suffering. So if you're angry at your mom, go in and forgive her, but it really ends up turning into forgiving yourself. It always ends up having nothing to do with the other person. They are just this really powerful partner to help you to direct that into yourself. But you have to go in unconditionally with the intention of forgiving your mom, right? In order for it to become genuine in, deep inside of you. We talked about that a lot.
Even if you can't forgive that other person, because some people are like, I could never forgive my mother for what she did to me, or my father, or whatever it is. But forgive yourself for holding on to that for so long. Forgive yourself for because you're a participant in that interaction.
Because that moment doesn't exist right now. So if you're still feeling the pain of it, then you're just punishing yourself. You're doing the job. So your mother injured you when you were 12, but now you're 32 and you're angry at her about it. You're doing what your mother did to you at age 30. You know what I mean? Like you're in charge of it now. So you do have to forgive yourself. Your mother did it one time, and you remembering it for 20 years is you doing it millions or thousands of times.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And that's one way to let go of those emotions that you hold in your chakras.
Right. I want to mention again that we are taking calls, 323-524-2599. We do have a call. Amber, would you like it if we took a call and saw?
Let's do it. I'm excited.
All right. Hi, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hello, this is Justine McLaurin. How are you?
Good. I'm great. Justine, you said, is your first name?
Yes,
Hi.
Justine.
Hi, Justine. Amber Poole is on with us as well.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I've enjoyed your show. I've really been trying to work on my own energy healing and forgiveness, and just really trying to find the right path for myself.
Mm-hmm. Amber, are you picking anything up for Justine? If not, I can go ahead and tell you what I'm feeling.
She mentioned her heart chakra, but I'm feeling really strong in her sacral chakra.
She didn't mention her heart chakra, but I wrote down heart chakra too.
Did she?
I don't think she said heart. No, we both just heard it.
No, I didn't, but you guys are good.
I wrote down heart. Jarvis, it's hard to see on the screen, but I wrote down heart.
Oh, that's so funny. That's very funny.
Did you hear it too, Jarvis?
I heard her say heart, and I was like, heart chakra, but I have to use my hand. So as I'm taking my hand and going up, I get a lot of emotion on not baggage, but like I call it dense energy in the sacral, which is relationships, emotions, going with the flow of things as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So
that would make sense. I just made a huge transition.
Oh, okay. And so sacral is trying to catch up there too. Root and sacral would be trying to catch up there too, because the primal nature, which is really activated there in those lower chakras. The primal nature, or we could say like the core of the ego, which is wanting to keep us alive. It hates change. It hates transition, because the reason of that primal nature is, if we have changes, we could die, because all of the things we've done so far hasn't killed me. So why would we change anything? Right. So there's a real fight. And so sacral may be spinning real hard to try to get into a flow again, which is another thing that sacral supports. But you're working on is that the reason that we all three, because Jarvis felt it too. Jarvis heard heart. Are you intentionally working with your heart chakra? Is that why we picked up on that?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Definitely. Absolutely. Working on that, working on forgiveness. I just sold my house and moved from Atlanta to San Diego and left, my fiance there. He's supposed to be coming in a few months, but that would be the relationship. My children are going to be here and there part-time. So there's just a lot, a complete transition.
Okay. Well, I mean, absolutely keep working on the heart, because the heart is the first of the unconditional of the spiritual chakras, and the higher chakras can heal the lower chakras. Particularly the heart it's pretty powerful. It can heal all of them, but that doesn't mean that you can't also spend special time with listening to each of the other chakras. I actually do a chakra questioning exercise where I feel into the chakra, that energy center, whichever one it is. Sometimes I do all 7 of my body. Actually, this morning I did Earth Star chakra too. And I just feel into it. I maybe visualize it, but feel into it with my, my clairsentience or just like with my emotions. And then I say, what do you have to tell me about? And then fill in the blank and just listen.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. And you'll feel the energy. It's kind of like your own little councils, your own little oracles. You have 7 little oracles located in your body. more than that.
Nice.
And,
very nice. Is there anything, I've felt like a calling towards like kind of like Reiki or some other healing mechanisms, crystals as well. Is there anything that you can give me confirmation on that, or?
I'll go ahead and let Amber answer that.
That's also your heart chakra. So your heart chakra, your palm chakras are extension of your heart chakra. So when you sit here with your heart chakra, you may warm up and tingle. Have you experienced that yet?
She said, you broke up a little. She said, you may feel your hands warm up.
Okay. All right.
So as you're working on your heart chakra, you're also going to feel your hands, because that's giving and receiving energy, are going to warm up. And it's doing that to prepare you for the healing that you're going to do.
Have you experienced that yet, Justine?
Wonderful.
Have you experienced that? Or perhaps, is it something she could look out for?
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
Great.
No, I have. I've felt a lot of transition and changing and tingling and warm, and I just need to, do more meditation. And
nope, that's your verification.
Yep.
That's your message for you. They're saying you are ready. You're tingling. You're ready to go.
Okay, wonderful. That's good. Thank you so much.
Do you think starting with friends and family, is that a great way to start?
That's what I did. I literally took my massage table, whoever would have me over their house, I would go over and say, I'm going to scan you, and we're just going to experiment and see how this goes.
Mm-hmm. And that's really that experimenting, giving yourself permission to just experiment. You get in such allowance because there's no harm then. You know what I mean? No one's given you money yet. So you're not like, I have to perform. I have to be awesome. I have to be Jesus Christ right now. It's like, I'm just experimenting, it just completely allows you to play, which is an energy of creativity, which is an energy of healing. So, yeah. And then after a while, you do that so many times, you're like, heck yes, I can be Jesus.
I got this. There's no pressure here. Let's talk.
Anything else, Justine? Thank you so much for calling. Justine, is there anything else you wanted us to look at real quick?
No, that's it. Unless you guys have anything, that's really more just looking for confirmation and I'm on the right path.
I see you also working with Jophiel too, and maybe that's right now, and that makes sense because I could see her really supporting that emotional aspect that, the sacral's it's burning a little hot right now, trying to catch up to what's going on. And Jophiel has a very gentle energy, and she's really lovely. So I see Jophiel working with you right now, or maybe she works with you. Maybe she's kind of a major part of your spirit team, but I see that energy as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for calling in. I hope you call again another time. And good luck with all of that. Sounds
Absolutely.
awesome.
Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Thanks, you as well. That's really funny, Amber. You're like, I heard you say, you said heart. And I was like, she didn't say it.
I really thought she did. I don't know why.
No, it was
like, okay, she's working on her heart. That's really good.
It was so telepathically loud that we all thought that she just said it. I knew she didn't say it because I wrote it down, so it helped me to. I realized that she didn't actually say it anyway. See how magical we are, everyone.
I love it.
You just have to open up to it, and you just have to say yes to it.
Yes.
And again, it's this is what I tell people, that it isn't that you are becoming a magician yourself. You are, again, remembering, and you're just connecting to what has always been there. You actually, I tell people who are developing their intuitive abilities that it's mostly a matter of learning how to stop doing things and just allow divine to flow.
Being outside of the box, right? That's what I'm so used to. One day I'm going to be open to giving it any way that I can. That's a great photo. I love it.
So what else do you do? So you actually have a studio. You actually have an actual store.
I do. I'm very excited. So I just opened up a store location. It used to be, quote, boutique, because everybody who would come in were able to get tumbled stones. And now I just went to a new level.
What is it? Tell us about your new level.
Let's go crystals. So whenever you come in Bel Air, It's a wellness center. You can come in and you can buy any kind of crystal that you want, and sprays. I love making sprays. And, like spheres are here, and different kind of things that you can create. And then back, we also do, because I teach people how to be crystal Reiki practitioners, we have a big night where anybody can come, you can practice. We do crystal Reiki shares, and it's lovely. It's because I didn't have a place to go when I was practicing. I wanted to make sure that other people have a place. I don't just attune you and say, see you later. You can always come in and use a room and, have one of my clients, because they always want to be practiced on anyway.
Right.
So it's really nice. I also created my own cards.
Oh, yes. Thank you for mentioning those. I saw those on your website.
Oh, can I show you?
Yes, please.
Okay, good. So these are crystal. I don't know if you can focus in on this.
Yeah.
These are crystal cards. Ooh, it goes this way. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
There we go. So that's the third eye, and that one's for dreams. And a lot of times, these are all reading energy. It's not, like tarot card readings. It's what energy should I work on today? You know what? I'm going to work on my throat chakra and discovering the truth within. And then it has the crystals that you might want to carry with you, or put under your bed, or remind you that you are being genuine to yourself.
Wow.
That you're going to create affirmations with them, right? So the affirmations will, I live in my own truth. I value my truth.
Oh, those are
and
beautiful.
they're there to help support you and put that energy into your field. So you can use them two ways. You can use them as a card of the day. You can use it as you're reading your chakras and do a lineup. Well, what energy do I have in my root chakra, and what energy am I working towards? So there's different layouts that you can use. And then it comes with a PDF file that has exercises for each one.
And how can we get these? On your website?
Yep, the chakradiva.com, and you can order them there.
Okay, great. And wow, those are so beautiful. How many cards are in the deck?
There's 54 cards, and then there's 6 other cards that give you suggestions of how to use them as well.
Okay. Wow, that's so awesome.
Oh,
congratulations.
thank you.
How long have you had those released?
A month.
Wow. And can people also buy crystals online from your store?
Not yet.
Not
yet. I am working on it. I am working on hiring a new staff. I need staff now.
Yeah. Oh, nice. And but you do your crystal Reiki, and you do intuitive readings and everything remotely as well. So folks that aren't local to you can go to the chakradiva.com and book sessions with you, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Because the crystal Reiki attuning and everything, it works remotely as well, just as well as it works in person. Yes?
Correct.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. And I even have a group online that's just for my crystal Reiki practitioners, so that if they have any questions and they're not here with me and they say, hey, I was doing this and I got stuck, what do I do? We have a group of about 30 people right now that everybody can assist you. I'm always on there all the time to help, because I want everybody to obviously be their best and do their best, because they're light workers, and light workers rock.
Right. Wow, what amazing work you're doing. But I know, because when I do energy healing, people think that if they book a session, they call me or something, they're like, so where do you work? And I'm like, well, remotely. Because especially the type of work that I do, it is just clairvoyantly looking in the field, talking about it, releasing it, moving things around, bringing light in, doing light work in that way. So I thought it would be great to make sure that people understood we're talking about, everything is energy. Everything is actually non-local. Consciousness is not local to the body. The body is beautiful, and it is very spiritual, and it is our most, it's the best way we can, it is very intuitive, and it's our easiest way to connect with our intuition and our, say, psychic abilities, because it is, this instrument of the body is psychic. But we can use, even though our local physical body, we can use it non-locally, because it works just the same. There is no such thing as space, actually.
None.
Right.
Because people go, how does she do that? They'll email me a question. I'm like, okay, I just need your name. And then I just ask questions. I talk to your higher self. I bring in your spirit guides. And I used to do YouTubes because, you have to book a time in a day. And some people don't have the right, we couldn't just make availability together. So I would put together, without even talking to anybody, a YouTube video for 20 minutes and send it back to them. And everybody's like, I can't believe how accurate you are.
Wow.
And that's what you want, because it's just energy. Our minds that restrict us from believing that we can't enter that field, but we most definitely can.
Oh, it's so beautiful. Wow, that's amazing. Do you have a YouTube channel now that people can go check out? Do you do other things on YouTube?
I do. The YouTube channel is the Chakra Diva.
Nice. Great. Oh, yeah.
And there's videos on there of how to feel energy, how to open up your palm chakras. That's the most popular one. And just different techniques.
Now, do you think everyone can feel energy? I mean, I'm sure some of us are more talented or naturally talented at it than others. That's the way I always just talk about all of these intuitive abilities really are basically, you just think of it like art. And everyone could sing a song, but some people are just way better at it naturally. And then other people work really hard at it and get way better at it. Do you see it that way as well? Whether it's feeling energy?
When I have people who come into the office and we do workshops and we're trying to open up our palm chakras, if they have a hard time receiving energy, right? So receiving in their daily life, receiving gifts, saying yes, saying compliments, and it's okay, receiving that kind of aspect, then they usually have a block in their hand chakra.
Oh, wow.
So they're giving and receiving. If you're open on both sides, then you have a really good flow of energy and you can feel it easier. So that's where I feel like people get stuck at if they have a hard time receiving or giving.
Right.
It depends on their hand chakras.
And that would be the same. Well, so I'm referencing something from my life. I was going to ask you, what would you be blocked more on one or than the other? And I'm imagining, yes, you could be more blocked on your left hand, the receiving hand, than the right. But they're really, giving and receiving is two sides of the same coin. So it's kind of the toggle of energy, right? So is that right? Is that your experience?
So with my receiving hand, which is my right hand, I'm left-handed in general, but my receiving hand, I always feel energy and I feel like I'm sending it with my left hand.
Yeah, that's how, Jarvis is a healer as well. Yeah, I'm the same, but you're not left-handed, are you? No, I'm right-handed. So it's the left hand receives and right. Yeah, exactly. The non-dominant receives in the right, but that's how it is. Sometimes I do this. So this is my left hand. I'm receiving divine and then I'm giving,
So if people in general have a hard time like feeling energy, what I do is practice with a clear quartz point and I put it up to their hand because they can always feel that. And I rotate it in circles and then I tell them to keep practicing until you can really feel it and embrace that.
That's great. I wake up my hand chakras like this. Is that what you do too as well?
Yep. I flick them. I move them back and forth. I bring them in, close them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And again,
I throw energy balls at my kids.
Does it work?
I don't know. They always duck.
That's what it's like having a light worker as a mom.
Yes. I'm like, what did you say to me?
I think I told you, I mentioned once, I heard Dr. Wayne Dyer talk about how his little 9-year-old daughter who's very opinionated, and she was arguing with him. She was mad at him about something, and he said to her, well, you must be pretty mad at yourself then. And she's like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, because you picked me. And she's
I love that.
What? And he's like, yeah, you picked me to be your dad. And she's like, you're saying I picked you and mom? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. So you must be pretty mad about me about that right now. And she paused and she goes, well, I must have been in a hurry.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I say my kids teach me the best lessons.
Yeah.
They really do.
Oh, they do.
Like they know how to get under my skin and figure out all those little things about me. And I'm like, okay, I have to practice patience. They're teaching me patience.
Yeah, they can get right into that shadow. And they're so natural. They're just like, here's this thing. Look at that, Mom.
Yes, absolutely. And I hear sometimes my husband, he's like, oh, somebody brings out the worst in me. I'm like, they're not bringing the worst out in you. You're there to understand something, to learn something.
Yeah, they're being a partner to your inner being. Your inner being is trying to bring out the best in you. And so they're partnering with that.
Yep. So I always say thank you. And no matter how mad I am, I'm like, okay, this is a lesson. Just say thank you.
It's so true. And you know what? You don't have to be perfect in your energy, because I've been before gritting my teeth going, thank you. I orient to love in this situation. And it will just the tiniest bit of shift to it, just the intention, even if this bigger feeling is kind of surrounding it, it will work anyway.
My favorite affirmation is I am that I am.
Yeah, mine too. Amber, did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
It is. I do it every day. Almost all of the lives I do in Lightworkers Lab and almost like most of the sessions that I do, we end with I am that I am, because I am that I am, and I've talked about on the show, I am that I am is present and eternal at the same time, in my opinion.
Well, when I'm angry, I'm like, I am that I am, and I am mad.
Yeah.
I am that I am, and that is okay. And I take myself through this whole entire process until I come back to I am that I am.
Yes. The first I am for me is accepting everything that I am right now, everything I've become and everything that I am right now. And that I am is the part where it expands out into eternal, oh gosh, I love that. And what a great way to end the show. We do have just a few seconds left. So please do tell everyone how they can get in touch with you again.
Sure, absolutely. You can find me at thechakradeva.com. That is my website, and also on YouTube, The Chakra Diva, as well as Facebook, The Chakra Diva.
And pick up her cards. I'm going to go and pick up a deck of those. They look amazing. I'm really excited about them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being on the show, Amber Poole, the Chakra Diva. What a wonderful show. Thank you for contributing so much of your light and your love here. Thank you for being a part of the Lightworkers Lab, as we both are. I hope you guys will join the Lightworkers Lab. Go visit the Chakra Diva to see the work that Amber's doing. It's amazing. And yes, thank you so much. And we hope to see you next week here on Charmed Life. Thanks for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.
Mwah.